Hey, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me today. This is your host, Jerry Cirino from the Median Podcast. Thank you always, as usual, for listening today and hopefully watching. If you want to go to YouTube or Rumble, you could actually find us on there and watch the videos of these podcasts. Just search Cleveland Right to Life on either YouTube or Rumble, and you can follow us there and check out the actual podcast videos if you'd like to. This is going to be another solo show. I'm trying to do these maybe once a week just to give sort of an overview or update of the latest pro life news, some discussions on recent or upcoming guests that are on. And I'd love to be able to also, bring up any topics that any one of you listening would like us to talk about. Maybe we could research something or discuss a specific area or answer a specific question that you might have in regards to the pro-life movement. So please, I'm hoping that you enjoy these solo episodes, as I'm calling them. But certainly we're still focused on making sure that we get some fantastic guests. And speaking of fantastic guests, I'm hoping that earlier this week you were able to listen to or watch two of the newest episodes of the show. First, we had Jana Brown. She has an inspirational story of redemption. Um, she shares that story, and it's not always easy to share some really, really difficult stories that of your life. And she does share that her husband died. She was a widow. She struggled with drugs and the like, and ultimately she became sober, found God, and is living a really fantastic life where she is promoting her Christianity. Jana Brown is the episode. Please go check it out on From the Median. You can go again from themedian.org, or you can go to any podcast app. Hopefully, you have a chance. It was really great. It was a real pleasure meeting her. And I had another new guest. Her name was Faith Ann Dalton. She's a Catholic author, and we just talked about her story, and she has a really great story again of redemption. She faced an unplanned pregnancy, and she made the right choices, and she's now trying to help others out as well. And she is an author, a writer, and I would highly suggest um, that you check her out as well. Faith Ann Dalton was also on the show. Really fantastic. You hopefully also um, got to listen to um, this past week. My guest, Christy Edwards, is her name. She's an author, and she actually was one of the very first people that worked with Charlie Kirk at Turning Point, and she knew him very, very closely. She describes herself as she was sort of like his mom, his work mom, kind of thing, and she shares some interesting stories about him and with him. And she also wrote a book called "In His Own Words," and it's really powerful. The conversation is extremely powerful. I really hope that you listen to that episode. I would highly suggest that you do. Please do. Okay, so a couple things in regards to pro life news I want to talk about that I think are really interesting is all this. We're in July, thank God, and thank God because June was Pride Month. And this so frustrates me is where's Life Month, right? Where's Christian Month, whatever the case may be. Why do we have to celebrate Pride Month? Since when do we celebrate who people sleep with or are sexually attracted to? It's insane. But at Major League Baseball had Pride Month, and you had a team, specifically the San Francisco Giants, but there were other teams that did things like this, and they had all sorts of stuff. They had same sex couples renew their vows on the field. A drag queen presided over this. The national anthem was sung by an LGBTQ whatever affirming church. Three of the pitchers uh, s- instead wrote Bible verses on their baseball caps, and obviously there was controversy over that. And I this is on Life Site. If you go to Life Site News, I would highly suggest that you follow lifesitenews.com to get real good, uh, you know, factual, right? It's sad that we even have to say that, factual reporting on these issues. And I would check that out. So lifesitenews.com. Check these out because these guys need to be applauded and supported, right? Because they can and do face a lot of backlash when you take a conservative or Christian perspective or stance. When you're out there, you're an actor or an athlete, you have a lot to lose, and so there's a lot of risk involved. And so I really appreciate these guys. Go check it out. It's an article on lifesitenews.com, and it's called MLB Pitchers Defy Pride Month with Bible verses. And guess what? It's the whole thing's being investigated. So check out. It's a really great article. I would highly suggest that you do that and you check it out. I wanna also from Life News, and I'm gonna here share my screen with all of you here if I can. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll share my screen here in a second. But lifenews.com, that's lifenews.com. Uh, great organization, great outlet here. Again, if you want to uh, listen to and get good, proper news, go to lifenews.com. This is our great, speaking of courageous, we go from professional athletes who are obviously, you know, top of the line, you know, best of the best athletes around, and to all the way to the Little Sisters of the Poor, and they're returning to court to fight the abortion mandate in Obamacare. And I just love this, and I'm looking here on Life News. They have a great article here. They have a picture of some of the nuns. These are these are wonderful people who are standing up and fighting. They're not necessarily powerful or anything like that, but they're standing up to government mandated, um, government mandated sort of abortion, which is through sort of certain contraceptives that are forced upon them, and their health insurance and the like, that can cause abortions. And so they're standing up to this and saying we don't want to participate in this. It's the Little Sisters of the Poor versus Pennsylvania. It's well, they've had some victories, but it's still an ongoing fight, and it's amazing. If you want to see who the good people are and who the bad people are, see who's fighting for and against these types of things. And again, I applaud Little Sisters of the Poor for standing up. It's good inspiration for all of us that if they can do it, certainly we can do it as well. And we have to stand up. So go check out lifenews.com, and if you want to learn a little bit more here, yeah, lifenews.com. Please check it out. Okay, so let's look at some other things that are in the news here. Again, if you want to get these updates, just on sort of summaries of new life, sort of information or updates, please go to clevelandrighttolife.org, and you can sign up for all this stuff and get these great summaries via email. And you can check these out yourself, but certainly you can go to the various websites as well. I would highly suggest that to you. So I don't know if is anyone watching the FIFA, the World Cup soccer. Um, I have. I'm not a soccer person, neither is my family, but we have enjoyed watching a lot of the soccer. Usually, it's the last 5 minutes, but in fairness, isn't that the case for the NBA or even the NFL. Watch it if it's a close game towards the end. NFL is different. I could watch an NFL game beginning to end, but anyways, this is a great article from lifenews.com about Cristiano Ronaldo, that his mother tried to abort him, but he survived. And this is one of the greatest soccer players in the world. And it's a really great and inspiring story of his survival from abortion. So, these are again always inspirational because people look to these athletes and many other people. They look to them and sort of they naturally take a leadership sort of position, right? And it's really really nice that when you see good stories like this of people who are ultimately their story is standing up for life. So I always love those and love to share them. I would check that out too, lifenews.com. Um, let's see, a couple other things. We continue to monitor the situation with the abortion pill. There's an article by Life News as well here. I'm just going to check this out. If you want to again go, Democrat states allowed 330,000 abortion pills to kill babies in pro-life states. So, that's the thing is even if you have certain laws in certain states in regards to the abortion pill, it is very, very, very easy to get the abortion pill because it's all done through the mail. And you could order multiples, and people could then take them and give them or sell them to anyone they want. You have obviously no idea who's really doing the ordering of the abortion pill. And even if it's in a state that doesn't allow them or has greater restrictions, it's easy to send them to those states, right? Um, so it's really, really a sick thing. Obviously, abortion is in general, certainly, but this abortion pill, what they also never really have really adjudicated or really discussed is um, the fact that women, including young women, are taking these pills with no medical supervision, not in a proper medical facility or situation. So, should something go wrong, they're being lied to about them, making it sound like they're the easiest thing. Take the pill, and the next day, baby's gone. It is not sort of that simple, right? These things are dangerous. I mean, number one, they're dangerous because they're killing babies, but they're dangerous to the women as well. The abortion pill is certainly a big part of sex trafficking, right? Because the abortion pill can be used to cover up crimes committed by sexual predators. So this is very very serious, and it just makes you worry that if we're having this much trouble sort of properly regulating, as long as abortion is legal, it's going to exist here. Um, you can't even regulate this in an administration, a presidential administration that is sort of on our side. Imagine if we had a Democrat, right? Imagine if the Democrats controlled Congress, right? That would be absolutely horrific because of what they would do and what they would allow. So, yeah, it's really concerning, and we have to um, very seriously take it very seriously. Um, I want to look here at this article. It's from the Jason Jones Show. Let's check it out here for a second. You can go to the Jason Jones Show substack.com, and it's just looking at the situation in Japan um, with record low birth rates, and they're needing people, they're needing human beings, right? And if we, as Christians, we accept that uh, God gave us life, and He said to be fruitful and multiply. We have to look at children and having children as so important, so valuable, so precious, and not as a problem, something to be avoided, or something even worse, to end their life because they're, quote unquote, unwanted or in a difficult situation. Right? Having that value of a human life is so evil, and it leads to evils, but it also, of course, leads to other challenges and issues, which is, population not growing properly as it should. We want that, right? There's so much good in people in life. And so this is an interesting article about Japan facing that. And look, the fact is we're facing it here too in the United States. We are. The birth rate is declined, not only because of abortion, but just out of sheer numbers of um, people having fewer children, whether it's due to their choice and it just happens that way, or it's through contraception. Those things can be dangerous and concerning as well. So, this is something that we have to continue to take a look at, and and take seriously, because we need to keep the birth rate up. We want it. The notion that so many people have talked about in the past, that, too many, we're going to be overpopulated and run out of food and all this global warming garbage. None of that is true. It never was. So there's no reason to not have kids. We can do it. We can do it all. I want to look at this nationalreview.com. Somewhat of, I'm okay with National Review. They have pluses and minuses, to be honest with you. But here was an article here, in which you get so many pro-abortion, pro-choice people talk about, women's rights were taken away with Dobbs, and women died, and women aren't going to be able to succeed in life, and their progress has been halted, and that's absurd. That's absolutely absurd. So this is an interesting article here from nationalreview.com, to where you can go and hear this rebuttal, that somehow women are hurt by the taking by the Dobbs decision and the throwing out of Roe v. Wade. Again, none of that is true. None of that is accurate at all. It's absurd. But yeah. So, but of course, that's what they say. That's what they say. So, all right. So let's take a look at a couple other things that I think that are really good. I know, from RT News, we're hearing a lot about the assisted suicide, or right to die. Canada has really taken this very strong. They're close to home, here, obviously, in the United States, but it is a serious problem, and it is a very serious issue. We've tackled this on the show multiple times with fantastic guests who come in and who've really looked at and followed this issue and are fighting this issue. But this particular article from, let's see, RT.com, RT.com, it's called, and it discusses how the French prime minister's approved assisted dying bill, right? And it's not a shocker that any of this is happening in some of these countries, including Canada. But it is sad, right? It is very, very sad. Thankfully, this particular bill in France, is has met strong opposition from conservatives in France and the Catholic clergy in France as well. But this type of thing is happening everywhere. And if you look at stories, if you follow, euthanasia, or again, you follow all these great news outlets that I've mentioned here, Life News, and so on, you're going to learn a lot about euthanasia and what's happening, and including, you're going to see that in a lot of cases, people who are not, on their deathbed, they're being killed, and in some cases without their consent. It's a pretty scary situation. Um, it's hard to really It's hard to really put it into words, um, because it's something that's really taken over, much like, we've had recently the transgender situation and issue, that is come about, and it's a very serious issue, right? But it came up just in the last handful of years, uh, you know, and that's what we're fighting. And so we're fighting here. We're also fighting this euthanasia stuff that is really taking over. Okay, so I hopefully you appreciated some of what we talked about, and you go check out some of these articles. Again, go to Cleveland Right to Life, and you could sign up to get these emails that give you these updates. Hopefully, they're beneficial. I also want to mention another guest that I recently had on. If you haven't caught this episode, please go and do so. Her name is Emma Johnson. She's a cancer survivor, and she talks about going to a medical facility in Tijuana, Mexico, called Oasis of Hope Cancer Center. And not only, she is promoting the clinic, of course, but she also shares her story. She survived breast cancer, thank God. She continues to fight it, to an extent, but she talks about her story, and it's really an amazing, jaw dropping story that she tells about what happened when she first was diagnosed with breast cancer. It's some people surprise me. They will never cease to surprise me. But you want to check her out. Emma Johnson is her name. She's if you missed that episode, please check it out. You'll love it, and you'll enjoy listening to her story. As I always say, please go to all the different podcast apps and subscribe to the show. You could listen there for any time. You can listen to old episodes. You can pause, and you can share episodes with friends or family. You could text people an episode, and they could listen to it if you felt it was beneficial, would be beneficial to them. And please go to all the different social medias. Whether it's YouTube, Rumble, Instagram, X. Facebook, just search Cleveland Right to Life and subscribe or follow the Cleveland Right to Life page, and check everything out. We want people to be able to see and hear and know all that we're talking about, and we're focusing and we're fighting for. And all the proceeds, any kind of help you can give, goes to Cleveland Right to Life. So again, I want to thank you for listening and putting up with me in this episode, this solo episode, as I've been doing. I really appreciate all of you listeners. Please go to fromthemedian.org if you want to connect with us. And thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next time.